Yeah, the difference between gender identity and gender expression. Gender identity is a sense of self. It's an internal feeling. It's incredibly personal, and it's not something that can be influenced, I guess, from the outside. Whereas expression is how you present yourself to the outside world. So through what clothing you wear, your mannerisms, your aesthetic, they're very separate. You can be a male identifying person and have a feminine expression, and vice versa. Like there's an infinite combination of identities and expressions.
Gender dysphoria is the current diagnosis that someone would get from the DSM, which is the book that says what is or is not a mental illness. So that's what it means in the clinical sense. But in the community sense, people use it to describe when something about their gender expression or their body does not match how they feel, and it causes dysphoria.
It's like a disconnect from kind of like how you feel internally and how the world sees you. For me, I always described it as feeling homesick, even though I was home. Like it was just like this, like I'm not where I should be. I feel like this like uncomfortable, like anxiety, almost constantly.
So gender dysphoria starts to become more of a physiological thing than just a social expression of yourself. So I feel like now for me, it's not that I hate my body. It's that I can imagine liking a different configuration more than I thought was very important for me before.
And it can like it's so unique to every individual. Some people it's physical things, it can be emotional things. Like everyone is very different, but I think the commonality between people with gender dysphoria is just like an uncomfortable sense of being in your body.
Can affect people in many different ways: depression, suicidal ideation. And when people are able to access the care that they need and address this, in whether it's medical or social transition needs, often they might experience gender euphoria when their insides match their outsides, when they feel good and feel like themselves.
Gender euphoria is great. It's like butterflies in your stomach. It's like this like burst of energy and feeling like giddy and happy in a moment. And that comes about, you find something that works for you physically, whether it's clothing or makeup, or you introduce yourself to a stranger and they just like get your name and pronouns right from the start. There's no explanation. It's just like positive energy. It's feeling whole and complete in your identity.
Being able to be myself is euphoric.
The dead name is the name that people were assigned at birth, but which doesn't fit them anymore. And it's often a source of pain.
Dead naming is when somebody uses someone's previous name, so that person's name is no longer representing them. I think that some people can go out of the way to be intentionally rude and hurtful to do that. I think it's a way of not honoring the person that is in front of you in the present and who they are. And it's just inaccurate. For someone to access gender-affirming surgeries, they, in order for our healthcare system to cover it, they need OHIP approval. That means they often will need a letter from a mental health provider. Then they will need the support of a doctor. So for top surgery, you need the support of a doctor, and then you need approval, and then you need to find a surgeon that will do it, and then the wait lists are quite long. So for example, I think it took me 4.5 years to access top surgery in the province.
There's a lot of obstacles we put in the way.
There might be other barriers like financial barriers, so not all the costs are covered for these surgeries. And then transportation, and then aftercare. Like a lot of people will need to take time off work and recover. And so different benefits might cover different things. So for example, where I used to work, benefits wouldn't cover me taking time off if I didn't have surgery in a hospital. And many top surgeries actually occur in day surgery clinics, so that doesn't count as a hospital. So you have to kind of like put a lot of work and effort into figuring out the different details. It's super complicated, yes.
I think it's scary how out of touch the medical community is with trans people. When I told my doctor that I wanted to start hormone therapy, I very much got the, I'm not comfortable, like, I don't know how to do that. I'm not comfortable doing it. You know, if you have somebody in mind, I can refer you, except I have no clue what other doctors are capable of, you know, providing hormone therapy and stuff like that. It hurts because it's like, you're a physician, you're in the medical profession because you want to help people, and here you are, like, not outright saying it, but you're denying care to a patient. And it's a huge barrier for trans people.